What is up, gang? Nick here. Welcome to the show if you're new. Thanks for coming back if you're not. Shout out to everyone who went in on our trades on the Discord channel. We almost nailed the bottom of NIO 2 days in a row, and our penny stock portfolio is actually trading well throughout the week. We're still above 50% on the year. If you want to gain access to those trades and our different portfolios, check out our Patreon page. There's more content behind the scenes, and this grants you access to our exclusive Discord channels. This is where you can find one-on-one research with me, my real-time trades, and insight into where your money can gain the most potential. We now have more than 2,000 members on our Discord channel. I'm starting to get to know a lot of you. What an awesome community. Thank you so much, everyone. In today's ep, we'll be covering NIO's full Q4 breakdown and where their shares could ultimately land amidst the chaos that is about to ensue on Monday. We have a ton to get to in today's episode, but before we get it, Webull is giving out 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850. All you have to do is 1, sign up, 2, open an account, and 3, deposit in at least $100 using the link in my description. This is a no-brainer. It's free money. Take my word for it, they're a great app. I wouldn't promote anything I didn't love myself. Alright gang, let's get right into it. So NIO is down on the month quite significantly, but we can harness this and buy the dips for long-term gains. Remember, if you have a long time horizon, volatility is your friend. Harness the moment. I want to address the factors that are going to be acting on NIO's share price so we can come to an informed and calculated understanding of where their shares could move in the coming days, weeks, and months, and especially next week. Heading into Monday's trading is without a question going to be one of the most volatile days in NIO's history, in my opinion. And why is this? Well, there's essentially 4 schools of thought and factors all bashing into NIO's valuation at once. These are NIO's delivery numbers for the month of February. These will likely be released before trading begins. However, this isn't a guarantee. Next, we'll have investors acting on the anticipation of NIO's Q4 earnings set for 8 p.m. on Monday Eastern Time after trading hours. I will be live streaming the entire event all on my Patreon page, guiding you through the turmoil and the chaos. Make sure you check that out. Next, we have greater market turmoil and cross-the-board sell-offs occurring, putting pressure on tech stocks and especially EV companies as of late. Lastly, and my personal favorite, we have investors harnessing the moment, buying in to secure long-term positions in the company. You know, many people may have missed these valuations the first time around and are seeing these lower valuations as sales and are thus purchasing bulk quantities of shares. Now let's first look at what we can expect from NIO's February delivery numbers. This will likely be the first key factor investors will act on. Looking back on historical data from China, we know that February delivery numbers are typically the weakest throughout the entire year. This is due to a multitude of factors, but especially the Chinese Lunar New Year holiday essentially subtracting a week. We also have a low day count and an overall subdued post-holiday market. I think we'll see about a 20% drop from the record high January numbers. I wouldn't be surprised anywhere in the mid 5,000s and 6,000 if we're lucky. However, don't be shocked. NIO is anticipating this drop and has factored it into their business ops. Now, I will be personally buying if we do see a dip off opening bell on Monday morning. I am hopeful that the mass public won't pick up on this tidbit of info and will reactively sell shares from fears of slowing growth without first doing the research into why delivery numbers are dropping. Now, moving into the end of the trading period, we are likely to see extreme volatility, choppy waters, high volumes, and lots of anticipation. Now, the Q4 consensus on their earnings is a loss of 7 cents per share, low estimate of 9-cent loss, and a high estimate of 3-cent loss. We are getting incredibly close to profitability. Now, the average analyst revenue estimate is sitting at $1.01 billion with a sales growth of 148.20%. Now, looking back on previous quarters, NIO has beaten earnings the past 3 quarters, and I do think they are poised to beat yet again. I'll get into why this is shortly. However, in my opinion, I do think this margin is going to be extremely tight. So what do we know? Well, really only one thing. We know that NIO delivered 17,353 vehicles in Q4 2020. Now let's extrapolate on this. Using their Q3 earnings, we can deduce that their average vehicle costs roughly $54,612 USD. Now, this won't be exact as they have sold more EC6s, their newest vehicle. However, we can use this as an approximation for now. Using this average and their deliveries, we get a total vehicle revenue of $947 million USD. Now, their total revenues in Q3 are actually more than just this. It's their vehicle revenues, obviously, plus a little extra bonus on top, their other revenue. This is generated through NIO power divisions, accessories, etc. This accounted for 5.73% of their total revenue. Now, I do think this will have more than just proportionally increased moving throughout the quarter, as with more vehicles on the road, this revenue stream actually slightly exponentially increases, and I do think a percentage of total revenue nearing 6.5% is an appropriate conservative figure to use. Now, with this little bonus, this brings us to $1.009 billion USD. Wow, I do think this will be the first time they crack $1 billion total revenue, USD that is. Now, this is almost exactly what earnings has predicted. Now, I do think that this other revenue stream could amount closer to 65 million or even touch 70 million, but let's remain conservative for now. There is also reason to believe that the average cost of the vehicle has actually increased moving throughout the quarter. Like I previously stated, I will guide you all through the turmoil live on Monday to inform you of the best path. However, for now, let's keep things conservative and where they are. Now, their cost of revenue has been around 92.34% of their vehicle sales, which would lead us to a cost of revenue of about 875 million. So, subtracting that from the total revenue brings us to about 134 million in gross profit. Their operating expenses will likely be around 33% of total revenue. This would represent $341 million. So, taking this and subtracting it from our gross profit brings us to an operating income of negative 206 million. Now, what this earnings really comes down to for me is their vehicle and gross margins. I am hopeful their vehicle margin will be around 18% and their gross margin around 16 or 15%. This would likely slightly push them over their earnings consensus. We do know that their JAC affiliation has continuously streamlined their process. We know they have improved their sourcing structures, having formed strong connections with local distributors. We also know that NIO has purchased back stake from NIO China, now holding more than 90% of the company, and they have also simultaneously strengthened their cash position throughout the entire quarter. We typically see increased volatility immediately following earnings calls, and I do personally think NIO is going to post an EPS of negative 5 cents. This would be earnings by 2 cents per share. I'll post the full analytical breakdown on my Patreon page. It gets quite numbery and not great for YouTube. Now, if we do see NIO beat earnings, shares will likely climb on Tuesday following this news. Because shares are already significantly down due to the recent turmoil, I would expect to see a doubling down on NIO long positions. This would really push shares back up to the high 50s or low 60s for the time being. We need to realize that this market volatility is likely not going anywhere anytime soon. I think moving into the summer months, once the heat of the moment has died down, we will see NIO's beta value drop significantly. On a zoomed out scale, we will likely just see a slowing growth valuation. Remember how promising this company could be. Think 3, 5, 10 years down the line where NIO shares could be trading, and these current valuations will, in my opinion, look like fire sales. Like I said, a lot of this earnings does come down to where their vehicle and gross margins have landed. This is what I will be honing into on their earnings call. I'm also really hopeful they give us some insight into where they see their company moving throughout 2021. I am so excited for the updates. This is genuinely one of my favorite companies. I don't get frazzled by the short-term volatility. I think big. I think with their valuations 3, 5, 10 years down the line in mind. Like I said, I will be guiding you all through this crazy time through my live stream on Patreon. I will also be answering any questions on our private Discord. This is a crazy time. Let's get through it together. Remember that volatility is your friend. This is where the big money is made. Harness it. Don't forget about the Webull promo, 2 free stocks for free, worth up to $1,850. All you have to do is 1, sign up, 2, open an account, and 3, deposit in at least $100 using the link in my description. They are a 0% commissions trading platform. You cannot lose on this situation. Check out the Patreon page. We have more content behind the scenes, under the radar stocks, penny stocks, every single NIO update, and this also gains you access into our private Discord channels. We now have more than 2,000 members. What a cool community that is. Anyways, everyone, I will see you all on the weekend with new videos. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I'd really appreciate it. Take care, happy trading, happy Friday, cheers.